All right, so the Boston Bruins have been eliminated in the second round of the 2020 Stanley Cup playoffs by the Tampa Bay Lightning. We'll be taking a look at that series in this video. If you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to help us get to 500 subscribers, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe down below. And let's take a look at this matchup between the Boston Bruins and the Tampa Bay Lightning. All right, so we have a second round matchup that we've been hoping to see for the past couple of seasons. It's been a couple of years since we've seen the Bruins and the Lightning match up in the playoffs. We were hoping to see that last season, but obviously things fell through with the Lightning in the first round. It ended up working out because the Columbus Blue Jackets had a pretty solid run, but we're not taking a look at them today. We're looking at the Boston Bruins and the Tampa Bay Lightning. I would argue the two best teams in the Atlantic Division right now. To the dismay of many Leaf fans, I think we can all agree they are not in that top two. It's definitely the Lightning and the Boston Bruins. So, we're looking back at Game 1. There was a lot of drama in this series and a lot of swings of momentum, and we saw that right away, right out of the gate in this series. So the Boston Bruins took a Game 1. They won Game 1 by a score of 3-2. They looked very solid in Game 1. They scored 3 unanswered goals. They were able to kind of take the momentum early in this series. You see a goal by Charlie Coyle, David Pastrnak. The momentum was definitely riding for the Boston Bruins, not to mention Brad Marchand would add the game winner. The Tampa Bay Lightning would come back in the third period, but it was too little too late. 2 goals by Victor Hedman from the point. A little bit of a screen on some of those goals, but you find a way to score goals. Victor Hedman looked very solid in the beginning of this series, but unfortunately, it was not enough. It was, unfortunately, a loss for the Tampa Bay Lightning. The shots were, we saw a combined 68 shots in Game 1. 31 for the Bruins, 37 for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Power play really was the difference maker. The Bruins were 1 for 3 on the power play. Tampa could not score. They were 0 for 3 on their power plays in Game number 1. So then we move on to Game number 2, where the Tampa Bay Lightning sort of took the momentum back. The first goal of Game 2 would go to Nick Ritchie, though. He would get his first of the postseason. A nice goal there by Nick Ritchie. To end the period, Blake Coleman, some of that depth for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They get on the board. That would be his second of the postseason. So Blake Coleman and Nick Ritchie in the first period, we have a 1-1 game. The second period, we saw the big superstars of each of these teams exchange goals. Brad Marchand started things off, and Nikita Kucherov before the end of the period, and it was a 2-2 score after 2. So now we head into the third period, and it was again Blake Coleman coming out with another goal, his second of the game, third of the postseason, and the Tampa Bay Lightning have taken command of the game. Not so fast, though, because with less than 5 minutes to go, Brad Marchand gets on the board for the second time this series, and it is a tie game. We're going to overtime. It is tied at 3. And then we head to overtime, and it didn't take too long. It took around 5 minutes into overtime. Andre Palat, his first of the postseason, a huge goal for him. A great way to get some momentum going in this series. Andre Palat gets the game winner in overtime. It's a 4-3 victory for the Tampa Bay Lightning. A huge win for the Tampa Bay Lightning in this series. A real momentum shift that we really kind of didn't see get taken away from them too much after this point. The Tampa Bay Lightning, instead of them being down 2-0, now we're looking at them evening the series. We're back at square one, and it was a good sign of things to come for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And the big thing here, again, shots was really interesting. 40 shots for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So they got 37 in Game 1 and 40 in Game 2. So a lot of shots on net. And that was an issue. And I think because of the whole Tuukka Rask situation, it definitely made it more difficult. They knew they had to get more shots on Yaroslav Halak. That was a huge difference maker for them in this series at the end of the day. But they were 0 for 2 on the power play. The Bruins were 1 for 3 on the power play. So the power play struggled early on in this series for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And they were still able to find a way to pull it out in Game 2. So then we move on to Game number 3, where you've got a complete thumping by the Tampa Bay Lightning. And this is when you start to see the series kind of come. It's the beginning of the end of this series. The Tampa Bay Lightning put up a touchdown, a 7-1 victory over the Boston Bruins. Andre Palat continues his success. He scores his second of the postseason, second goal of this series in a row. So a goal there for Palat. Yanni Gourde would get one. Sergachev would score. Killorn, point. Killorn again. And Nikita Kucherov, the lone goal for the Boston Bruins, coming from, once again, Brad Marchand, who in the first 3 games has a goal in each of those 3 games. Fortunately, that was far from enough for the Boston Bruins. A 7-1 loss in this one. A real struggle for them. They took too many penalties. 6 penalties for the Boston Bruins here in game number 3. The Tampa Bay Lightning were able to score on 3 of those 6 power plays, and that was a huge difference maker, and it really made it tough for the Boston Bruins to really get any mojo or any flow in this game. Once again, the Tampa Bay Lightning, for the 3rd consecutive game, put over 30 shots with their 31-shot performance in this one. And this really just showed how the series turned for the Boston Bruins, how solid they looked in Game 1, the progressive turn as Tampa started to turn the tide in Game 2. They win that one in overtime. And Game 3, the doors get completely blown off of the Boston Bruins. So now we head to Game number 4. And the Tampa Bay Lightning continue the dirty work as the Tampa Bay Lightning win this one by a score of 4-1. A tough outing once again for the Boston Bruins. The lone goal for the Bruins came from Jake DeBrusk, and Andre Palat gets a 2-goal game, his 3rd and 4th of the postseason. So he picked up all 4 of his goals in these 4 games. So pretty solid performance from Andre Palat in the last couple of games, and he really showed that. Victor Hedman gets his 3rd of this series, his 4th of the postseason, and the Tampa Bay Lightning are seemingly taking control of this series. The momentum swing was obviously, it definitely showed in last game, but it really showed a lot more in this one. And, again, the penalties. 5 penalties for the Boston Bruins. They gave up a power play goal. The Boston Bruins got 4 power plays, but they were able to score on their one. But unfortunately, the difference maker, the Boston Bruins just were not able to get enough going. They did put up 30 shots, and for the first time in this series, the Tampa Bay Lightning got under 30 shots in a game, to only 26 shots for the Tampa Bay Lightning in Game 4. But unfortunately, it didn't really matter. It was a 4-1 loss at the end of the day for the Boston Bruins. So now we move on to Game 5, and Game 5 is where the series met its end, unfortunately, for the Boston Bruins. A 3-2 overtime victory for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They would defeat the Boston Bruins in 5 games. Andre Palat continues his success. He gets another one. Victor Hedman gets on the board as well. And then we see Anthony Cirelli get one as well. And David Krejci and Pastrnak were the last to score for the Boston Bruins this year. And Victor Hedman in double overtime, a little more than 5 minutes left in double overtime. Victor Hedman seals the deal, wins Game 5 for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Boston Bruins, who are on the brink of elimination, their backs against the wall, were unable to get it done, and they find themselves in a bit of a spot, and I'll be talking about that in a video sometime this week, hopefully talking about the Boston Bruins and their situation, because they aren't in a great spot right now. We could say the window is not closed yet. I think a lot of that has to do with the goaltending situation moving forward, as well as what is the status of Torrey Krug. Are they going to be able to keep Torrey Krug? Will Zdeno Chara be staying for another season? These are the kind of questions that we still have to have answered to decide what really is going to happen with the Bruins. But a tough, disappointing effort for the Bruins and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Good on the Tampa Bay Lightning. They will be going to the 3rd round, the Eastern Conference Final. They haven't been back here since 2015, I think. So this is a huge accomplishment for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're probably going to be playing I'm not even going to jinx it, but they will be playing either the New York Islanders or the Philadelphia Flyers once that series wraps up. But a really good effort by the Lightning. You see some of the depth getting goals. You see guys like Cirelli, Andre Palat, Alex Killorn, Blake Coleman getting on the board in this series, and not to mention your big stars like Victor Hedman putting in a couple of goals as well. 4 goals on the series for Victor Hedman. Andrei Vasilevsky looked pretty solid in between the pipes, and that was really a big difference maker as well. Just, unfortunately, Yaroslav Halak really struggled at points in this series. He was getting bombarded with shots early in the series, and he just really wasn't able to get settled into this one. And unfortunately, That was a huge factor for the Bruins in this series. So comment down below, Tampa Bay Lightning fans. Are you excited? Who do you want to see your team play against? Do you want to play the New York Islanders or the Philadelphia Flyers? And Boston Bruin fans, let me know, what do the Bruins have to do this offseason? Obviously, the goaltending situation has got to change. There's still 1 year left on Tuukka Rask's contract they have to figure out. That's something they're going to have to decide over the next couple of months. The status of Torrey Krug. Will they be able to re-sign Torrey Krug? And as well as a couple of other little things here and there, like is Zdeno Chara going to hang up the skates? Those are some of the questions we have for the Bruins moving forward. So that's it for this video. Comment down below what you think. And if you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, you want to see the latest news around the NHL, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe down below. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.